Pittsburgh Steelers offensive lineman Kendrick Green moving to fullback is a scary sight for opposing defenses. And also, later on in the video, I'm going to give you an update from training camp yesterday on Friday Night Lights. So, you heard that right. The Steelers center slash guard has played some fullback yesterday, Friday Night Lights, in a packed stadium. 13,500 fans, and he actually did pretty well. And it's going to be a scary sight if he ends up playing that position more in the future. We all know Kendrick Green was drafted in the 3rd round 3 years back now. And since that time, he just hasn't lived up to that 3rd round pick. He started right out the gate at center, even though he played most of his time in college as a guard. So he had some getting used to as a center his first season as a rookie. He was thrown into the fire because that was a year right after Maurkice Pouncey retired. He's been on the team for a very long time, Maurkice Pouncey, and then he retired, and then a rookie took over. So he had a lot of pressure on him, and he was switching positions, and it just has not worked out at that center position. And since his rookie season, where he was getting beat by basically anyone who stepped foot in front of him, whether that was in the run game or the pass game, he just hasn't got another shot. And it makes sense why he hasn't got another shot, because obviously you're trying to upgrade, and you see that he needed upgrading at that position, and you did not want to go back to him for year 2. He did not play his whole second season with the Steelers, and now heading to his 3rd season, he's on the edge of the roster, meaning that he may not even make the team, because the Steelers have some major upgrades, and their backups, they have backups like Nate Herbig, who could actually play backup center, so they don't need Kendrick Green on the roster, especially if he hasn't gotten better and he hasn't produced. That's why playing fullback at training camp yesterday is a huge stepping stone to him even making the roster. I believe that even gives him a chance to make the roster, because if he was just playing center and guard, I really don't see him making the roster except for the practice squad after the final cutdowns are made. When he reverts back to the practice squad, and if someone ever gets injured, he gets raised from the practice squad to the main squad. I didn't see him really making the team. But if he continues to show some things at fullback, and he's able to be versatile and actually step in there sometimes, that could actually be a big stepping stone to him and his future in this league, and actually making the roster this time around. So you may be wondering, how would it help his chance to make the Steelers roster if he starts playing fullback? Well, I'm going to tell you how. The Steelers right now have 3 tight ends. Really 4, but let me just name the 3. Pat Freiermuth, Zach Gentry, and Darnell Washington. And then the 4th one is Connor Hayward, but he could play multiple positions like a fullback. So, Monte Pottebaum. Just recently, he retired from the Steelers, meaning that the Steelers don't really have a true fullback on the team. They could obviously play Connor Hayward there, who's played some time there in college, but he's not really a true fullback. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they may decide maybe in the red zone that having an extra offensive lineman, some guy who weighs 315 pounds, a really big monster, and someone who moves well on his feet, even though he hasn't really moved well in the future. That's what he's known for, getting out in space and making a block. Kendrick Green, putting him in, helping him block in the red zone for Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, or whoever's at running back, could really help the Steelers, because then they could go to a monster look. And we all know the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do that, going to the monster look and actually running the football and being successful at it. That's why they got all these new offensive linemen. And also, it's going to help his chances if he's able to be versatile. Because if he could play fullback, we already know he could play some center, and in college he played guard. So that's 3-4 positions right there that he could play. And him being able to play fullback, line up in the backfield, maybe to help block and maybe even catch some, could help. Yes, obviously, you don't want to throw him the ball, because in a regular game, you don't know what will happen. This is just practice. Don't get me wrong. I like seeing him at fullback, but I know in a real game, you don't really want to put him out there catching the ball. Yes, to run block, sure. Pass block, sure. But not throwing the ball as much, or maybe not even at all. And it's going to help his chances too, I believe, because just say a guy like Spencer Anderson The Steelers are thinking about keeping him on the roster to be their 8th offensive lineman. Usually they keep around 7 or 8. Just say they think about keeping him as an 8th offensive lineman. Since he could play left tackle, he could play right tackle, he could play guard. He's very versatile. Maybe the Steelers wanted to keep someone who's very versatile on the roster. Well, if Kendrick Green is also versatile and can play many positions, then the Steelers have to think about keeping him as well. So now it's a competition between Spencer Anderson and Kendrick Green. But if Kendrick Green cannot play multiple positions, then why would they keep him on the roster instead of Spencer Anderson, someone who can play multiple spots? It just doesn't make sense. So having Kendrick Green be able to play multiple positions on the offensive line and fullback help his chances a lot. And now let me get into why it's a scary sight for opposing defenses to go up against a guy like that. Well, let me tell you. If you look at the Ravens, you look like Pat Ricard on the Ravens, the fullback. He weighs over 300 pounds and he's an absolute monster of a fullback. One of the best fullbacks in the league, especially at run blocking. And it seems like he's always in the game to run block for the running back, but not even, just to be the lead blocker when Lamar Jackson takes off as well. And having a guy at that size going against linebackers, he weighs more than the linebackers. And also, he weighs almost the same as the defensive end. So you have a guy who's actually able to match up against the run defense of a defense and not be scared to go out there and block. Yes, a guy, just say like Connor Hayward, he doesn't weigh 315 pounds, he weighs somewhere in the 200s, so he's not the same size as the linebackers. He's 6 foot tall, barely 6 foot tall, and also he's a guy who's not weighing the same as the defensive ends. Defensive ends weigh around 315 pounds. So having Kendrick Green go in there sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, because Connor Hayward, don't get me wrong, he's a really good player, makes some really good catches, and a really solid person. So Connor Hayward, he would be the starter at that position. But just in the red zone, when you need run blocking, you put in the extra offense lineman. We always seen Zach Banner come in as an extra offense lineman. Once you put in an extra offense lineman, but then you also put in a second offense lineman as your fullback. Now you can do multiple things. Having a guy there who actually weighs the same as the opposing defensive players. And that's why it's a scary sight. We've seen Patrick Ricard do that, but he can actually catch a good amount, but Kendrick Green can't, I believe. So it's a scary sight, and that's why I believe he has a good chance now to make the roster if he continues to show stuff at that position. So after practice as well, Kendrick Green, he went to 93.7 The Fan to talk about this, to talk about him moving to fullback in yesterday's practice, and this is what he had to say about the experience. It's just something coach wanted to see. It might be the end of it, but you never know. It was a good time. It was fun. We knew we're doing that today. It may have been a today thing only, but who knows? So, Kendrick Green, as you all know, Mike Tomlin, he was not at practice yesterday because he was at the Hall of Fame, kind of inducting Rondé Barber and helping him get enshrined into the Hall of Fame. He was one of his coaches in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that really helped him, so he was there. So I guess a coach like Matt Canada or someone else wanted to see what Kendrick Green would look like as fullback. And many people have been talking about Kendrick Green moving to fullback, and that may be a better position for him. For example, Vince Williams, former Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker, said many times that the Steelers should move Kendrick Green to fullback because that would be a spot that he could really help the team. And many other people have said that as well. I'm not going to go down the whole list, but that has been brought up a lot since Kendrick Green struggled his first season. But with that being said, that's the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments below, how do you feel about Kendrick Green making a couple catches and also laying a huge block as a fullback? Do you believe that the Steelers should look at him more at the fullback position? Do you believe he's even going to make the roster, or do you believe that he's going to get cut when the roster cutdowns come? Do you think he's going to make the 53-man roster? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below about this topic. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like serious content, analysis, reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post next year's video. Click that bell down below so you never miss out. I cover everything for this training camp so far, and I'll continue to do so, and the regular season and moving forward. So, like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.